r/glitch in the Matrix was created on January 13th, 2012, briefly described as a place where people can post stories of real eyewitness events that cannot be explained with critical thinking. One rule in the subreddit reads, "We have zero tolerance on fiction. Even if a story just sounds fake, it will get deleted. Is there too much detail, over elaboration, and just generally sounding like BS? Report it." In this video, we go over fascinating stories that I personally thought were the most interesting out of all I read. Remember, this is merely for entertainment. You can be skeptical all you want as they don't present evidence, but let's keep it civil in the comments. If you enjoy the work I do, consider following me on Twitter and on Instagram, where I'll give you guys updates on my latest projects and post weird things like this. With that out the way, let's begin with story number 1. Pretty sure I slipped in the shower and died. Posted by u/ConcertSufficient966 on August 20th, 2022. I know this story is going to sound weird and crazy, but hear me out. I'm not too familiar with this subreddit, but a friend of mine who's always talking about metaphysics, Twilight Zone, simulation type stuff loves this sub and keeps telling me to post this. In fact, no doubt he'll read this. Hey Zane, lol. Anyways, here's my story. 2 weeks ago, I was about to get ready for a party at 6. Just before I started getting ready, one of my friends messaged me, super excited because the boy she's had a crush on for the last 4 years finally asked her out, and he was coming with her to the party. While I was texting her back, my younger brother walked into my room and asked if I could give him a drive to his friend's house, which I agreed to do. Then I went to the bathroom to have a shower and do my makeup. So I got in the shower, but when I went to wash my hair, I realized that my conditioner was finished. I was pretty ticked off because I'd only bought it a couple days ago beforehand, and it's an expensive brand. My younger sister always uses up my things, so I knew she'd used it all. She'd also trashed the bathroom, leaving water everywhere and her dirty towel on the floor. I was pretty pissed off and was about to get out of the shower in order to tell her off and get some more conditioner. I realized at the last second that she'd kicked the grippy mat we have at the bottom of our shower up the tub, which is super slippery without the grip mat. So as I went to step out, my foot slipped and I fell with my neck down onto the edge of my tub. Time seemed to slow down in my head, and I remember my last thought was, wow, this is how I die? How stupid. But here's the thing, at the moment of impact, I woke up in a start, back in bed. I know it sounds stupid and cheesy like something from a dumb Netflix show, but there's literally no other way to describe what happened. I was laying in bed right before I got up for the shower the first time, but I don't remember falling asleep. And the thing is, I've been a lucid dreamer for the last 5 or so years, and if this was a dream, it was way more vivid than anything I've ever experienced. What weirded me out though was that the exact same friend who texted me in the dream first messaged me after I woke up to tell me that the boy she had a crush on had asked out another girl, and she was pretty bummed out about it and didn't want to go to the party. I was weirded out that there was some similarity between that and the dream, but didn't think too much of it at first. As I went to reply, my younger brother came in to ask me if I could take him to his friend's house. All the blood drained from my face. He just stood in the doorway looking confused and asked me what was wrong. I rushed into the bathroom, feeling like I was about to lose my freaking mind, and went to check the conditioner bottle. I know this sounds completely crazy, but the bottle was finished, just like before, and the grip mat was kicked up. At that point, I went to lie back down in bed and texted my friends to tell them that I wouldn't be able to go to the party. A word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Scentbird. I've been out and about lately to events like concerts and such, and when you're in close proximity to people, you want to smell your best. Scentbird does a good job at providing a variety of perfumes to choose from. Scentbird lets you choose a new designer fragrance to try every month for just $17. Every month you get to pick what you want, no surprises. With each fragrance, you'll get a 30-day supply so you can try it out before committing to a full-size bottle that can cost over $150. You can discover new fragrances by taking a simple quiz on Scentbird. Based on your choices, they'll help you find the fragrance you'll love. This month, I received Electric Wood by Room 1015, which has a nice low-key sweet woody smell, and North Atlantic Right Whale, which is by far my favorite cool breeze scent. Though I gotta say, Intenso by Vince Camuto Home has gotta be one of my favorite fragrances out of the three. It has a nice rich smell that's not too subtle or too strong on the nose. So go ahead and use Bug55 to get 55% off your first month at Scentbird. It's just a little over $7 for your first month for US and Canada. So go ahead and check out the links below, and thank you once again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. Glitch, or Did I Die in the Previous Universe? Posted by u/aggressive_AD_9800 on August 17th, 2022. It's been about a week, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that I might have died in another timeline and just jumped to this one. Background: I was driving down PCH, a very long highway up the coast of California, at 8:15 p.m. exactly, and I know this because I called my mom to let her know I was stopping to watch the sun as it was setting because it was breathtaking. As I'm watching the sunset, I hear a car's horn blazing, and I mean it was loud and sounded like it was coming right at me. I turn around and see a car coming straight towards me and my car, and then suddenly I'm sitting on the ground, very confused. A headache is starting to come on, but I wasn't hit. My car wasn't hit either, and I'm still breathing. Obviously freaked out, I get back up and check my phone to call my mom because this is just crazy. And then I noticed it's 8:13 p.m. I checked my phone to see if I actually did call her, but there's no history of it. I shake the nerves off and decide to just get home quickly, thinking maybe that was just foreshadowing in events that I did not want to relive. Once I'm home, my mom asked me why I called her and just hung up. I asked what time I called. She said 8:15 p.m. There's still no history of me calling her on my phone. Am I crazy, or did I just switch timelines? Everything here seems more vibrant and colorful. I can feel more energy here as well. I'm not sure. Any guesses? One notable reply to this post states, I don't know, but it's absolutely happened to me in 2013 with a failed unalive attempt. Woke up in a hospital. After that, everything was different. Things like my mother and sisters saying that my aunts never lived in the house I'd remember her living in, or my friends not remembering things the way that I did. Also, so many things got better in my life almost instantly. I didn't think anything about any of this, or start wondering what the hell had happened to me, up until a lifelong close friend of mine, who didn't know anything about my unalive attempt at all, successfully tried to off himself on the exact same day the next year. It was like this timeline had to recreate the events and put somebody in my place. I don't know, coincidentally, I saw that same friend in a grocery store in my dreams last night. You know, this story and others that are similar really remind me of the quantum immortality theory. In short, it's the theory that proposes that we're all immortal and that every time we die, we simply branch off into a different reality. Or at least our consciousness does, due to the fact that in one reality, we will always be alive, which is the one that we have to experience, since we're the ones that are living. Something happened to me in my apartment. It happened again when I was hospitalized. Posted by u/agalegos27 on August 26, 2022. A quick backstory. Weird things have always occurred in my apartment. I posted a few years ago about something that happened with my partner being in an apartment, going to the restroom, and slamming the door angrily, only to have him walk through the front door a few minutes later. You can't escape the bathroom window, there's bars on it, and neighbors would hear the commotion. Also, having things end up in random spots like cell phones on the stove, cabinets wide open, remotes that were next to me a minute ago ending up on the table, etc. Yes, I have a carbon monoxide detector that works, and no, I have no history of mental illness like schizophrenia, nor does my family. I was recently hospitalized this year from surgery that was supposed to be a safe procedure that people heal quickly from. After the surgery, I went through a traumatic experience, but what made my recovery worse was remembering what happened in my apartment a few years earlier. About 3, almost 4 years ago, I had a day off from school, so I was just relaxing at home, watching a movie on Netflix. I went to the bathroom, came back out to the living room, and halfway through, I was pretty much blinded by a bright light, and it stunned me to where I couldn't move at all, just stood there still in my tracks. I heard extremely loud yet muffled voices, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, but like if someone/something else was breathing for me, because my chest was expanding so much, but I know I wasn't inhaling/exhaling. Then I heard a loud voice saying, "Okay, it's going up." Quickly coming to my senses once again, I screamed out loud, "What the f-?" I had to sit down on the couch and just grasp what just happened. It was the middle of the day, so I know I wasn't sleeping, and I know how sleep paralysis feels like. So now years later to after my surgery. It's a few hours afterward, and they give me a small meal, broth and jello to eat. In the middle of eating, I start to feel weird, extremely weak and tingly, and thankfully, there are two of my nurses in front of me typing up my notes. I tell them something is wrong. I lay back a bit, then feel my arms droop, and I hear one of them say, "I'm calling it." They lower my bed, and I'm getting weaker and sleepier. I see more hospital staff run in, and one of them asking me, "What are you looking at?" As I look up at the bright lights above my hospital bed. Then I start feeling my throat close up. As I begin freaking out, gasping for air, a nurse starts pumping me with air manually. I start feeling less tingly and breathe better on my own. When I hear someone say, "Okay, it's going up now," the phrase that I had heard before. I was told in the ICU that during surgery, they severed an artery and lost almost 7 pints of blood. I'm grateful I didn't die. But what was that? Was it a premonition, a glitch, etc.? My dog kept going up the stairs after death. Posted by u/Marsoto99 on September 5th, 2022. When I was a kid, I lived in a really tall house. There was a central set of stairs that went 4 stories high that the house was built around. My parents' room was on the 4th floor, while I lived on the 3rd floor, right next to the stairs. My childhood dog, this mutt named Bueller, would climb up the stairs most nights to go to sleep with my parents, while occasionally sleeping with one of my siblings on the floor below me. Anytime Bueller was walking around the house, you could hear the clacks of his paws on the wooden planks. He would never head up the stairs at a constant time either, going from as early as 8 to as late as midnight. Fast forward, it's July 2014. I'm 17 years old, and Bueller had just passed away. The house felt really empty for a while. We had gotten accustomed to his clacks, that it was just odd not hearing them. But they kept on coming for about 2 weeks after his death. I, along with my parents, heard Bueller climb the stairs every night. This sound was unmistakable. I had heard this noise for years on end. It was the same pattern and same rhythm as Bueller in life, except there was no Bueller anymore. There was no weather patterns going on, the house wasn't especially creaky, and we didn't have any other pets than him. It was never at the same time every night either. When it came late July, we stopped hearing Bueller's clacks. I asked my parents if they heard the noises, and they agreed. It had to be Bueller coming up the stairs. I will say, I never went to see what it was, just because I knew definitely what it was. It was Bueller going to sleep with my parents. I fell off a cliff, and when I was rescued, my entire reality was different. Posted on March 1st, 2022. In February 2020, I was snowmobiling for the first time. My boyfriend at the time was driving all day and finally let me drive at the end of the trip. We had been dating for 2 months, and this was our first trip together. I'm going around the last bend, and I accidentally floor the snowmobile instead of pushing the brake. I go flying off a cliff and end up 50 feet down. The snowmobile is on top of me, upside down, still running with the bottom part spinning. My helmet has flown off and my head is 1 inch from a tree. I am terrified. My boyfriend managed to roll off the back at the last minute and is trying to save me, but the snow is really deep and he's having a hard time getting down the steep cliff. My legs are fully submerged in snow, with the snowmobile on top, and I'm not sure if I'm paralyzed. He calls for help and all of these men run down to save me. When they finally pull me out, I can stand and it's the happiest moment of my life. I'm not paralyzed. I don't have so much as a scratch on me. Do I have a concussion? Maybe. It's hard to say. The snowmobile also, miraculously, has minimal damage. Only the little plastic windshield part is cracked. In hindsight, this moment is where everything changed for me. But you have to understand, I didn't piece this together and come to this realization until months later. These are the differences. My loving, awesome boyfriend was physically abusive for the first time that night. He blacked out and attacked me, choking me. He was crying the next day, and nothing like this had ever happened before. I thought he was traumatized from the crash and let it go. That was another thing that was different. I would have never let that go before. I come from a loving childhood where my dad was my best friend always. I would have never put up with that before the crash and was shocked that I did. In the old timeline, I was on a low dose of Effexor and Xanax and blood pressure medication. I don't take any medication at all in this timeline. Over the next year, a series of weird things that don't make any sense keep happening to the point that I start to feel suspicious. I all of a sudden have an incurable disease I didn't have before. I'm in pictures I have no idea what the context is. I'm wearing clothes that I don't own anymore. My friends have memories of me I don't share, and I'm getting more and more depressed. My boyfriend keeps on being physically abusive, and I can't get out of it. I have no will to save myself. I just keep thinking, this can't be my life. This isn't my life. It just felt like I wasn't supposed to be here. And I finally look at Reddit and realize that I died in the snowmobile crash, and that this is an alternate timeline I'm in. I start to just agree with my friends when they say, remember when you said that, and remember when you did this? But I have no recollection. My CAT scans are normal at this point after visiting the ER. To be honest, I wasn't the most observant person to begin with. A new couch could be in the living room for days, and I wouldn't notice. So when all the stores and shops are different in one area of town, I don't know if that was always there or new. I finally worked up the nerve to tell my sister, who is surprisingly supportive. She asks, what else is different? There was this song in the other timeline. It was a very popular song by Shania Twain or Sheryl Crow type. Anyone would know it. I sing it to her with the lyrics and tell her we would always used to listen to it growing up, though she has no recollection of it. I type the words into Google. The song doesn't exist here. The longer I'm in this timeline, the more I forget the words and the melody of the old song. Also, there was no iPhone 13 in the other timeline because Steve Jobs was superstitious and it was supposed to go from iPhone 12 to iPhone 14. I notice little glitches like that are stupid and don't matter. How do I feel about it now? I've accepted my new reality. I feel bad for my sister and parents in the old timeline that are dealing with my death in a freak snowmobile accident though, but there's nothing I can do. Trying to find them again would be like trying to walk from Canada to Australia with no map. Impossible and a waste of time. I'm just making my reality the best I can now. It clearly, for some reason, wasn't my time to die. I mean, to the point of going into the afterlife, if there is one. So, I should do something important if I can. I was always agnostic before this, but didn't believe in different timelines. I thought movies like The Butterfly Effect and Run Lola Run were dumb concepts. Now, I don't rule out anything ever. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, or don't, but hopefully you'll come across a video of mine again. Either way, thanks for watching to the end, and enjoy your night or day. Go ahead and use Bug55 to get 55% off your first month at Sempered. It's just a little over $7 for your first month for US and Canada, so go ahead and check out the links below, and thank you once again to Sempered for sponsoring this video.